I'm already providing for my son's 50%. I have to provide for his babysitter. I have to provide for his diapers, for his everything too. So I have to provide for mine and for hers as well. I just don't see that being fair, since I'm already doing my 50% as a dad. Like it's for the benefit of the child, not for her lifestyle.
According to States Exhibit 1, you're, well, how much do you make per year?
52,000.
Okay, and then gross, that comes out to be $4,333.33 per month, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then if you were to provide health and dental for the child, that would cost you roughly $200 a month, right?
Right, correct.
And then you've got the one child herein, and then you got another child that lives in your household, right?
I do, yes.
Okay, and that would come out to be, if you were to pay child support, that would come out to be $603, right?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Mr. DeHamison. 603?
Yeah, 603.
Okay.
And it's also in the States Exhibit 1, Your Honor.
I don't see where that is in States Exhibit 1.
It's at the bottom under Wendy, Naomi, Villarreal. The parties do agree on joint managing conservatorship. On the possession access, mom has the child Monday and Tuesday.
Sorry, I can't hear you very well. I don't know what we're going to do.
Mom has a child Monday and Tuesday.
I'm sorry, I can't. Monday and what?
Monday and Tuesday. Dad has a child Wednesday and Thursday. And then weekends are every other weekend. The geographic is Galveston and contiguous counties. The pickup and drop off is going to be Dot Coffee Shop, Houston, Texas. And I call Miss Villarreal as my first witness, Your Honor.
And can you just clearly state what's disputed so I know what I'm listening for?
Yes. So what's disputed is the child support amount, the retro back child support amount, and the non-disclosure.
May proceed.
Thank you. Ms. Villarreal, can you state your full name for the record?
Wendy Naomi Villarreal.
And Ms. Villarreal, did you hear and understand what the agreements that I read into the record?
Yes.
And are you in agreement to those agreements, ma'am?
I am.
Okay. Ma'am, who is your child?
Damian Wyatt Sotello.
And how old is Damian?
He's 1 year and 9 months.
Okay. Now, ma'am, who do you work for?
He's about to turn.
Ma'am, who do you work for? Resource
and Crisis Center of Galveston County.
Okay. And
I don't see where it's the States Exhibit 1 was the retroactive child support. So you're
I'm sorry. States Exhibit 2.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
So in this case, Ms. Villarreal, the child is with dad half the time, right?
Correct.
But you're asking that this court award you child support, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, when did y'all separate? When did you stop living under the same household?
It was mid-November of last year of 2023. So I believe it was like roughly November 15, 17, around there.
Okay. And did Mr. Salgato give you any financial help during this time, during this period?
He did, yes.
Okay. And how much did he give you during this period?
From December till now, it's been roughly $3,600.
Okay. Now, ma'am, do you have any safety concerns?
I do.
Okay. And what safety concerns do you have?
It'll be mentally and emotionally, and lately I just don't want him near. I don't feel comfortable around him. I don't want him near my home. That's why we picked well, for me, that's why I want a meeting spot. I've had to threaten to call the cops because he just won't leave me alone. I want it to be strictly about my son, and he doesn't do that, so I just don't feel safe around him.
So,
Did-
before you move on, again, I asked this for a reason. So the disputed issue also includes pickup and drop off?
No, Your Honor, that's agreed that they're going to do pick up a drop off at DOT.
Okay.
So, Ms. Villarreal, has he ever put his hands on you?
No, he has not, but he has like kind of barricaded me where I can't get out, or like even at drop off, he wouldn't let me close my door. He held my door like open.
Okay. And you would feel safe if you had a non-disclosure, right?
I do, yes.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ma'am, does he know where you live right now?
He does, yes.
And when were these incidents you referred to?
They've been the door incident maybe like about a month ago, and then like with the housing where my house is, it's been going on since we split up.
You may continue, Mr. DeHamison.
Thank you, Your Honor. State calls Mr. Salgato. Mr. Salgato, can you state your full name?
Yes, Jose Alfredo Sotello Salgato.
Mr. Salgato, did you hear and understand what I had read into the record earlier?
Correct, I do.
Okay, and are you in agreement to those agreements that you made?
I am.
Okay, now, Mr. Salgato, based on the state's Exhibit 2, your gross income is $10,144.66.
Correct.
And you're providing health and dental for the child at $248 per month, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, do you have any other children?
I do not.
Okay. Now, your child support, your guideline child support comes to $15.12 per month, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you believe that you should be paying $15.12 per month to the other party?
No, just because if I'm already doing my 50% as a father, I don't see a reason why I should be still having to provide financially at that point, since I'm already doing my due diligence and my duties as a father.
So you're saying that you've got the child half the time and you shouldn't be paying child support. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Now, let me ask you this. When did you start having a child at 50%? Was it the time that you guys separated in November of last year?
No, well, yes and no. We had an agreement where the days would still be the same. Monday and Tuesdays, he would be with me. I mean, Monday and Tuesday, he would be with her. Wednesday and Thursday, he would be with me, and we would alternate weekends. In the beginning, she would let me take him in the weekends, but she wouldn't allow me to take him Wednesdays and Thursdays overnight. She would allow me to come see him and be with him and put him to sleep, but she didn't want to be separated from him because he was so small. So she would allow me on Wednesdays and Thursdays that were my days to come to her house and be with him and put him to sleep. And then we officially went 50-50, where she would let me take him overnight maybe a couple months ago.
Okay.
But Wednesdays and Thursdays have always been mine. Even
Okay.
from the point we broke from the start where we split up.
Okay. Now, on the retroactive child support calculation sheet, on November and December, we're using the minimum wage calculation. Were you working in November and December?
Half of November, no, and December I was not working.
Okay. And if we total the
When did they separate? I don't think he testified to that.
Mr. Salgato, when did y'all separate in November of 2023?
Officially November 15, 2023.
Okay. Now, Mr. Salgato, if we calculate the retro from November to present, the first 2 months being minimum wage and then using your actual salary this year, the subtotal comes out to be $14,070. And if we subtract the 3,600 that you did give the other party. The grand total is $10,470. Do you believe that you owe this amount?
No, for the same reason that ever since we split up, I've always been a devoted father, upheld my duties as a father. I've always provided for my child. So I don't see why I should be paying back pay when I always assumed child support was for dads that didn't want to be involved, but I've always been involved since day one.
So your reasoning is that you've had the child 50% of the time, and that's the reason why you don't want that the retro shouldn't apply to you.
Correct.
Okay. Now, the other party is requesting non-disclosure. Are you in agreement to that?
No, I am not.
Okay. She testified that you prevented her door from closing. What happened during this time?
At that time, I was trying to talk to her, just conversation. She was short. She would try to just be short, and I did it one time. I stopped the door trying to have a conversation with her, and that did happen.
Were you trying to hurt her?
No, not at all.
Have you ever physically hurt her?
No.
Yeah. Have you ever screamed at her or shouted at her?
I'm a loud person, so probably, but not to the point where with malice or in a way.
Okay. Why are you not in agreement for her to have a non-disclosure, sir?
Now, the reason I respect that she wants her privacy and she doesn't feel safe. I respect that. Now, the reason what I don't want the non-disclosure is because we live across town, and at the end of the day, she is the mother of my child, and she will have my child 50% of the time. So if something were to happen to my child, I'm left with nowhere to go.
So
It's
are you saying?
It's more of a security reason for my child.
So are you saying that you don't know where your child's going to be?
If correct.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you have any further witnesses?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, the state does not represent either of you, so I'm going to give you both a chance to speak. Ms. Villarreal, you may go first.
Okay, I do want the non-disclosure. Yes, Damien will be safe, but my safety is also a concern. I believe that should be a priority as well. Just because say I move or something in the future, I don't feel safe around him. I want the non-disclosure. It's not just for my safety, it's for my daughter's safety.
Getting the right to decide where the child goes to school, Mr. DeHamison?
Excuse me?
Your Honor, what was the question?
Who has the right to determine where the child goes to school in the future?
Your Honor, mom is the primary,
Okay.
where she's the exclusive geographic Galveston and contiguous counties.
Okay, you may continue, ma'am.
Okay. As of child support, yeah, I believe yes, it is correct. He had Wednesdays and Thursdays since the beginning, but no, he did not show up every single time. There was some weeks that he did not show up to come see him. He didn't, or he would just come once a week. So no, it was not always 50-50. So yes, I do believe retro pay should be awarded. As of going on child support, like in the future, it's starting in October. Yes, there is a significant income difference, and I want the same standard of living for my child. It's not just one kid that I'm supporting with my income, it's 2 kids. So yes, he should be financially responsible for his son. Maybe I'm not saying it has to be the 15-12 a month, but something, honestly, anything helps. I do have to pay a babysitter. I'm not asking for all 15-12. If there's a way you guys calculate the difference for being at 50-50, then that's fine with me. That's really all I gotta say. Yeah.
Mr. Salgato, is there anything you'd like to say?
For the non-disclosure, we had agreed to dot because if she doesn't want me going to her home, I completely understand and I respect it. But again, it goes to a safety concern. If something were to happen to her and she's with my child, or if something happens to my child, again, I live across town and I would have nowhere to go. At least I want to know the security that I know where my child's sleeping. I know where my child is at. For the retrograde, she is correct. Wednesdays and Thursdays have always been mine from the beginning, but sometimes I would make it the point to make it, well, maybe on a Wednesday or maybe a Thursday. Sometimes I would miss a day just because I would be getting off late and I would have to drive. I work downtown and she wouldn't let me take my son overnight, so I would have to drive to her, which she lives in Bay Cliff, and by the time I would get there, it would be night. And that's one of the reasons we would always argue back and forth that I wanted my child overnight Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then she finally let me have him. She would let me come see him, but she wouldn't let me take him overnight. And she finally agreed to let me take him overnight. It's not that I didn't want to come see him. Is that if I'm getting off of work late, it's so much easier if my child's already at my house, rather than having to go across town to come see him and be with him and put him to sleep and then drive all the way across town again. That's one of the reasons why sometimes I did not come Wednesdays and Thursdays, or one of the 2 days, but I always try to make it a point to come to see him and put him to sleep, even if I was driving across town just to put him to sleep. And for the child support, again, I'm already providing for my son's 50%. I have to provide for his babysitter. I have to provide for his diapers, for his everything too. So I have to provide for mine and for hers as well. I just don't see that being fair, since I'm already doing my 50% as a dad. Like it's for the benefit of the child, not for her lifestyle.
Have you all discussed any plans for expenses in the future that are going to come up? Like who's going to cover the things?
50-50.
That really doesn't
that impression.
sir. Did you have a discussion about that and have plans? Because right now the baby doesn't do much. No one really gave testimony on what the baby does during the day, so I have no idea. But generally baby's expenses are diapers, food, depending upon daycare situations, nannies, a little bit of clothing, but you can get that pretty cheaply for a baby. They don't do much else. But as this child grows, they're going to do extracurriculars. They're going to have various school expenses, school supplies, like things just escalate. And 50-50 with people who are afraid of each other, whether that's rational or not, isn't the easiest solution. So have you talked about that at all in this plan?
No, we have not. I don't. He's always wanted like to sit down and talk about it. I'd rather have it be legal because I can't have a conversation with him just about my child. It has to be about us, and I want to separate that. So we can't just sit down and talk about the child. So that's why we haven't been able to talk. Or I don't just want to be around him and talk about that. Like I would just keep telling him, let's just wait till today, till the court day, and just.
Ma'am.
I can't hear you.
My question was yes, no. So the answer is no.
No, sorry.
Further, I don't want to incite this and make it worse than it is, but I just kind of needed to know as part of my ruling where things are and what all has been addressed and what hasn't been. Because there's statutes for child support. There's not an official law for 50-50. And so it's very fact specific. So I needed some more facts. Okay. Do you have anything further, Mr. DeHamison?
No, Your Honor.
Ma'am, how do y'all communicate right now?
Mainly through text message.
And are you asking that your phone number be private?
No, it's fine.
Mr. DeHamison, can you get more testimony about the non-disclosure?
Yeah.
Specifically think about what she's requesting and what, because all it is whether her address is public or not. Has he abused her address? Like, I get that they don't get along well, but.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Villarreal, when you say you have safety concerns about the other party knowing your address, what are your concerns? Why why don't you want Mr. Salgato to have your address?
Just he's unpredictable. I
Has
don't
he
want
has,
him showing up one day and just unannounced.
has he showed up in the past unannounced?
No, he has not, but
Has he ever come to your house to harass you?
no,
Has he hurt the property in any way or damaged anything?
no,
So you don't really have anything to point at that he's done in the past. Can you think of anything?
just what I have already stated.
The car incident about
The
him
car
not closing.
incident and then not letting me through sometimes, or
When was the car incident?
about a month ago.
I guess I don't understand. Why was he even near your car a month ago? Was this during a drop-off exchange?
During a drop off
Let me ask you this. Do you live with anyone else besides your children?
with my mother.
Does your mom work or does she stay home?
She works.
She works.
Because the non-disclosure is not going to stop a car incident like that. Like, sometimes I think the non-disclosure becomes this, like you think it's going to solve the issues, and you have real issues, but I'm not sure the non-disclosure is going to actually solve the issues you have, ma'am.
Okay.
I mean, I don't doubt that you all have very bad conversations sometimes, and it's inappropriate, and he probably yells at you. I believe that. I'm just not sure him not knowing where you live is going to stop him from doing that. And I don't know that him not knowing where you live is going to stop him from holding the door open during a visitation exchange.
Yes, but in the past, when he did show up to my house or pick up my son from my house, I would have to threaten to call the police for him to actually leave with my son. My son would be in the car and he would still be trying to talk to me or whatever. I can't hear you. Sorry.
Mr. DeHamison, do they need a pickup and drop off at the police station? Like maybe.
Well, Your Honor, they agreed to do pick up and drop off at DOT.
Okay, but I'm looking at the best interest of the child, and I'm looking at what remedies will solve the actual issues in the case. And if the issue is they have very volatile pickup and drop offs, him not knowing where she lives when the pickup and drop off is at Dots, nobody at Dots is going to care. There's a fight in the parking lot. Is it solving the problem? I'm concerned about that. I mean, Dots is a busy place. That's a really busy parking lot. There's an HEB there. There's all sorts of cars driving by at very fast speeds.
Ms. Villarreal, the incident that you testified to happened at the pickup and drop off. Would you be more comfortable doing it at a police station?
I mean, I don't want it to be to that extent.
So you have safety concerns, but not to the point where you have to meet at the police station.
That's fine. Yes.
I'm not sure what you said yes to.
I guess it'll be better for us to meet at a police station. When I do pickups and drop-offs, even at Dogs, I share my location. I let my friends and my family members know, like, hey, this is the time I'm picking them up. Track my location.
And you do that because you're scared?
Yes.
And you're scared because the car door incident could take place again, right?
And maybe it can get worse. I do work at a DV shelter. I've seen things I don't want happening to me. I know how unpredictable his behaviors are.
Other than the door incident, has he prevented you from leaving in the past?
No, just kind of like if I would try to go around him or something, he would just like move his body to where I can't.
Okay. Now you said that he wouldn't leave when he came to your home. Did you have the door open?
Yes, at first I would, like, when we first separated, I would let him, like he said, he would come over and put the baby to sleep, but as time progressed, I just felt like it's just gotten worse. So yes. And then we would just meet in the outside of my home. He still wouldn't leave. So that's when we agreed to do it at dots.
Okay, so you're concerned that he's not leaving and he's not letting you leave,
Yes.
but he's never hurt you.
No.
Okay. He's just preventing you from leaving.
Yes.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Salgato, is there anything you'd like to say?
No. I mean, I've never physically hurt her. I may have just stopped her to talk to her because, I mean, at the end of the day, I still care for her and I was still trying. But, I mean, I never wanted for her to feel like it's being harassed or to the point where we needed to get the cops involved. Because, like I've stated before, I've never touched her. I may have just blocked her away to converse with her, but I've never actually physically touched her or put her in harm's way.
Would you like to make a closing argument, Mr. DeHamison?
Yeah, briefly, Your Honor. We asked that the court make appropriate rulings on the non-disclosure based on her safety concerns as to not being able to leave when she wants. That if the child support should be ordered by obligor to obligee, that it should be offset in a reasonable, appropriate way. And also,
He has no request on child support.
Our request that we have a proposed child support from obligor to obligee in an amount of $15.12 per month, and then if Ms. Real was supposed to pay, then the proposed child support for her would be $603. So we'd ask that some type of appropriate offset be made in this case. And also that the court should make appropriate rulings on the retro child support. We have a proposed child support of $14,070 and credit that they both agreed to of $3,600, which would bring the retro to $10,470. However, there is testimony that they were having the child 50-50 during this period of time. So the retro should also be made in consideration as to that testimony.
You all both live in Galveston?
No, I live in Galveston County, Bay Cliff.
Oh, okay. I'm not asking where you live. I just wanted to know if you're all in Galveston County or not. So are you in Galveston County?
No, I'm in Houston.
Okay. Galveston County?
What was that?
Are you near Galveston County?
Yes. Well, close by.
Okay. Because, and I'm going to approve this, but I am going to express some concern for the future. You know, right now, and it's great that it's great that you're sharing. It's great that you're co-parenting. I'm not at all questioning your involvement, sir or ma'am. I think that part is wonderful. But as the child gets older and goes to school, and you're both going to be doing pickup and drop off at locations that are possibly far from where you live, it's going to get harder. It's going to change and evolve, not just financially, but also just logistically. So I hope you've all thought that through and can make this work going forward. I'm going to approve the joint managing conservatorship with Ms. Villarreal having the right to determine the primary residence of the child within Galveston and contiguous counties. I'm going to approve your visitation. I'm assuming, Mr. DeHamison, you have times and stuff for the exchanges that are going to go in the order and not leave it vague. Because if you say mom has Monday and Tuesday, that kind of means from midnight. And I'm sure no one's doing that.
No, Your Honor, I don't have the times set.
You might want to make sure you have an enforceable order. Not sure how well you're going to draft that.
Can I ask what the parties, I can ask what the parties are doing now as far as the exchanges on those days.
Okay.
Ms. Villarreal, you said that you have the child Mondays, Tuesdays, and y'all agreed that dad's got the child Wednesdays and Thursdays and every other weekend, right?
Correct.
What are the exchange times for the Monday, Tuesday?
Monday, Tuesday, well, Sunday night we meet up like around 6, 7. So I have him Sunday night, and then and all of Monday, all of Tuesday. And then Wednesday, he gets dropped off at the sitter, and he usually picks him up after work. And if it's my Friday, like if it's my weekend, I would pick him up Friday after work, which would be like 6, 7.
What time
And then
does
keep him.
what time does a child gets picked up by dad on Wednesday?
Around
Wednesday.
3.
3 p.m. Okay, so on Sunday, 6 or 7 p.m. You get the child, right?
Correct.
And then the dad picks the child up at 3 p.m. on Wednesday.
Correct.
And then on your Friday, it's at 6 or 7 p.m. that dad picks up the child.
That I pick up the child from his place, like his Harris County.
Okay. And then it's the reverse when he picks up the child on Friday at 6 or 7, right?
Yes, but he usually keeps them. It's confusing, sorry. So like, say if I had him from Friday, like if it's my weekend, it'll be Friday all the way till Wednesday. If it's his weekend, he'll have him Wednesday all the way to Sunday. So it's like 5, usually like kind of 5 consecutive days. And we did this because we tried keeping my son the same schedule as my daughter so they can grow up together.
Okay, and y'all are in agreement to keep it like this?
Yes, I am.
Sir, are you in agreement to keep doing it like this?
Correct.
Okay.
We're going to do the pickup and drop off at a local police station. If you can find one, Mr. DeHamison.
I would say the Pasadena Police Station.
I have no
Would
idea where you live, so it's hard for me to.
Would Mr. Salgato and Ms. Villarreal, would the Pasadena Police Station be halfway for you guys?
Yeah, I can make it.
Yes, that's fine.
That way, if God forbid something escalates during a pickup and drop off, there's security around. And hopefully we'll keep things calmer for everyone's sake. I'm going to offset the child support by what she would pay and what he would pay, and order that Mr. Salgato pay to Ms. Villarreal $909 each month beginning October 1st of 2024. I'm ordering back child support of $4,000, a $4,000 judgment against Mr. Salgato, with him paying that at a rate of $50 each month beginning October 1st of 2024. And I'm denying the non-disclosure. But sir, please note, there's no reason for you to be at her house under this court order. Someone else gave me that argument once about emergencies, and I honestly can't think of a single emergency that you would need to be there for. Even if the house was on fire, you would not get there in time. Someone else would have to help that child, and her, and anybody. If the child had some medical condition and needed to be rushed to the hospital, you would not be there in time. You'd need to call an ambulance, or she'd need to get a neighbor, or she'd have to do it at a very high speed. And so I know it feels like, and I understand you wanting to know where your child is to some degree, but at the same point, there's really no reason, unless, as your child gets older, things are going to happen where you probably will need to be there. But right now, at least, you're doing the pickup and drop offs at the police station. You have separate lives. You have blocks of time. You have the child. She has a block of time. You have the child. Unless something comes up that you all coordinate that requires being at each other's houses, I don't see why you would need to be there. And just know she's concerned. So if you do show up and it's scary, she's likely to call the police or somebody. And that's not good for your child. It's great again that you're both very involved in Damien's life, but Damien doesn't need to see mom and dad and police and any of that. That's not good for anybody. It's not good for you. It's not good for Miss Villarreal, and it's certainly not good for Damien. So even though I'm not granting the non-disclosure, I don't expect you to go over to her house today or anytime soon, because there's just no reason. And there's probably some emergency out there that I can't think of, but I honestly can't think of a single one that would have you needing to go there. Now, yes, if something happens and your child ends up in the hospital, Ms. Villarreal, you should call him and let him know that your son is in the hospital and some tragedy occurred. And something like fall in a playground. I mean, nothing to do with either of you, not bad parenting. Things sometimes happen. And if God forbid there's a fire in the house and you all don't have a place to stay, you should let Mr. Salgato know that too. But there's no reason to be at her house for any of those things. You need to be there. You need to be supportive of everybody during that time frame if something, God forbid, happens. But there's no need to be, it sounds like there's a reason you all broke up, and it's probably for everyone's best interest of everybody in this case. But you're now all co-parenting Damien. You're all seeing Damien a lot, and that's great. So keep it that way. And just think about that, okay? And then yes, I'm ordering court costs be paid by September 9th of 2025 by Mr. Salgato. The Attorney General's office is going to draft the order based on my ruling today, and then they'll send it to both of you through DocuSign to review and sign off. And so they're going to help move you to the breakout rooms. If you can all click on your screens, the icon should appear on the bottom. And as you scroll through, there should be one that looks like a square with 4 squares, and it might say return to breakout room. If you just click on that, it'll take you right back. But good luck going forward, and thank you both for coming in today.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.